Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court of the Rings on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I am Lotro's community manager, Cordova, and I'll be with you for the next hour, hanging out, having some fun. I'm going to have some sneak release notes. What? Yeah, update 32. We're tracking that for next week, so I'll have more information about that as well. We'll have the, like say, the latest news, latest Q&A, what have you. Later on, after we get through the news segment, I'm going to be continuing my way through Gundabad and Karbronik. And, I probably should have learned to pronounce that before I went live in the air. You don't think about these things until it's too late. How you doing? How's your Friday? Hope it's going well for you. It's pretty nice here in Massachusetts. We have an unseasonably warm weekend in store, so that's kind of nice. Otherwise, we're tracking toward Update 32. Our goal is to release Update 32 next week. Let's say middle of the week next week. And if everything works out, we'll be live next week. Stay tuned for more information on the downtime and release notes. I will have the release notes, a preview of them, kind of a in-progress state in just a little bit. But Update 32 should be next week, so yeah, that means Angela Mathithal, that means Erebor Housing, that means the reward track. And that means that the raid will be coming soon. We've decided to shift the start date of the new Hidden Horde raid. The Hidden Horde of Abnankara. The Hidden Horde of Abnankara will arrive starting noon Eastern on Thursday. Let me make sure my calendar's right just before I give it. Yep. On Thursday, February 24th. So that means not next week, but the week after. That Thursday, the Hidden Horde of Abnankara will be available to play both Tier 1 and Tier 2 difficulties. And Update 32, along with Erebor Housing, the reward track, and all that next week. So I think we're going to basically do one more Bull Roar on the raid. We want to do just a little bit more polish before we open it all up. And so I think that'll be next week as well. All right. So that's what we got going on. Let me take a quick spin through chat, and actually let's stop the spinning ring thing before I hypnotize everyone. And instead, let's take a look at my dwarf, my stout axe Stampion, who is kind of on his way to do some questing here in just a little bit. So that's what's going on. All right. So let me go through chat. Did I even say I was going to consult someone on how to pronounce it? I was a liar. I did no such thing. Is there a way to scale bags for higher resolution? We cannot see them. Is there a plugin to make it bigger, or have plans to address this in Update 32? It is not in Update 32. I assume there's a plugin that people use if you have a 4K monitor and have UI scaling issues. I assume that exists, but since I don't have a 4K monitor and I don't use plugins, I don't know for sure. Do we plan to address it? Yes. I don't know when. It's a big project to redo all of our UI, which is really what we're talking about here. It's a massive scale project. So, who knows? Definitely not for 32. It's not something we have, actively penned in, but it's absolutely something we would love to. So, sorry about that. No word on legendary bridles as well. Regarding movement in Lotro, a question if I have a second. If you speedrun Lotro at a speedrunning event, will I buff wardens? I do not have the ability to buff wardens. Will the team buff wardens if you speedrun Lotro at a speedrunning event? No. Sorry. That's cool, though. You should still do it. Get some video of it or something. Missy Eiffel. There you go, Papa Joel. Will there be another Bull Roar build for Hidden Horde raid, and or the Bull Roar build from today going to continue past the current 3 p.m. closing time? I don't... Let me see if I can get you an answer to that one question there. I don't actually know. But, yes, I do believe we're going to have a bull roar next week. There we go. What do I see? Yeah, I don't see any indication that we're going to be extending bull roar. So, while you're correct that we just deployed a build at, what, 11:30 here in the morning? I think that's because we probably have a targeted group we're going to be running through it or something like that. But next week is going to be another bull roar for that one as well. And then the raid itself will get out on the 24th, which I'll get to here in just a second on release notes. But let me just continue going through the initial questions, see what I can answer. When will carryalls be capable of being renamed? No word, no ETA. I've not heard of that. That would be nice. That seems like something we could do at some point in the future. Any update on Brawler playable on top tier raids? Sebastian says, well, kind of, and that is that I would direct you to a chat that we had yesterday. Oleg sat down with Bloodborne on twitch.tv/Bloodborne. And this afternoon I'm going to find the link to that and spread the word and what have you. But he did talk about the state of Brawler as it relates to endgame rating and our plans for that. I am not in a position to just kind of echo his thoughts because I don't have them in front of me again. But he did talk about that. So that should be something you can get an answer to, which is we are doing some work on it. But he has some specificity of what we want to do for Brawler in that interview that took place last night, 8 o'clock Eastern on twitch.tv/Bloodborne. And I assume that he's got the archive up on at least Twitch, if not YouTube and Twitch by this point. So, and if not, we'll be spreading the word about it this afternoon. So, all right, there we go. Difficulty scaler coming to normal servers. We have no plans to bring the landscape difficulty system currently to the other servers. No plans right now. Doesn't mean it couldn't happen. But it's not something we're intending to do right now. Okay, Chris asks, with the gold cap unlock, premium wallet, and class trait set unlock all going to be free, will there be any changes to our subscriber benefits as well? That is something that I believe also producer Reninia discussed last night with Bloodborne. But I would say that that is something that was often on our mind, and we do have some thoughts in that regard here for the future. So perhaps we'll be able to have something to say there in the future. And why is my cursor over my head? Annoying. All right. Is there a direct link that takes you to the live broadcast? Every Friday when you go to Court of the Rings, it takes me to your saved shows and not the live broadcast. Dennis, I run into that issue too. On a consumer level, when I'm trying to watch my own show to have it on in the background and pop out the chat window to get to the show. All I can really say about that is my belief is that that is a YouTube thing. And if there is a way to get around it, I am not familiar. That said, when the show is live, the direct link is youtube.com/dungeonsanddragons, one word, no ampersand, /live. youtube.com/dungeonsanddragons/live is the direct link to YouTube for the live stream on... I said Dungeons and Dragons because I'm an idiot because I just said that last Wednesday. Lord of the Rings /live. youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live. And that will take you directly to the page. But it's a YouTube thing. For some reason, you can't get to that live page unless you're actually live. That I can tell. I can get to it, but then it doesn't work, and then the chat window doesn't actually update. So it doesn't really actually work. I think that's just a YouTube thing. Sorry. All right. Next question. What is going on with Saul Zant selling the video game rights to Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit? Well, as an expert, no, I have no idea what's going on with that. No comment. I saw that news. So did everyone else. There's my comment. All right, Ember Moat's update just on hold then. The chat yesterday was awful, really. It's bad, but deal with it for now. Well, I'm sorry that you felt that way about the chat yesterday. I think we did explain, though, that Embers and Moats, the planned changes that we had floated and then retracted in January, that's out. That's out. We're not bringing that back. I would be very surprised were we to bring that back. But at the same time, we do want to take a look at the problem as Reninia outlined in that chat. So I do think we'll be doing something, but I would expect probably the idea that received poor feedback from the community that we retracted in January. I suspect that's probably largely done for good. Any good pieces of it might remain. That's about it. Okay. I have not heard of plans to bring older festival mounts back for token purchase. Sorry, Talon. All right. Let me head over to Facebook quick here. I'm not sure. Someone on both, the same person, I think, on YouTube and Facebook is asking about a game boot issue they are experiencing. I'm sorry to say that. If you are transferring characters to Bullroarer, I think you could get a boot, or you probably will get a boot. Maybe that's your issue, but if otherwise you're having a load screen hanging issue, I could say that we're continuing to work on that and related issues. We do have quite a bit of work in the works, so we'll see that hopefully in release notes here in the coming months. Let's see. I hope. Do we have plenty of neighborhood instances of the Erebor housing per server for the rollout? Gosh, I hope so. We're planning ahead. I can't say that you're going to necessarily get every special house you want. They're special. There's only a limited number of them. But yes, is the answer. We will be actively keeping an eye on the number of Erebor housing instances available on the various worlds and doing our best to address them both through the automated system that exists in addition to the manual kind of adjustments that sometimes help as people sort of figure you see kind of a natural ebb and flow in terms of the kind of properties people are trying to buy. You don't want to have a situation where there's only like one purchased house in every instance neighborhood, obviously. But you also don't want to have a situation where you've got, let's say, 30% of your house buying public wanting to own a house, and they can't because we simply don't have any instances for them. So it's a little bit of a balancing act, especially at the start. And I think we did okay on Rohan housing. We were pretty responsive there. We're going to try doing our best to keep Erebor housing supply and demand in check, but as you can imagine, let us know. Let us know when we run out. We'll do our best. So, thank you for bringing that up, though. That is actually something that's going to be happening next week, is it not? I don't know, Corey, about your Stable Master Collection panel expanded map question. Sorry. Don't know that PVMP question. Sorry, Jeff. Any plans to address stat bloat? That would be really more of a systems questions, but I have heard Vastin and others discuss some things that we could do there in the future, so perhaps we'll see some work there. When does the reward track go live? With update 32 next week. I'm actually going to get to that in just a second on the release note here. Questions have taken a little longer than expected. But that's fine. Let's get to it here in a second. Yeah, I know a lot of people want me to talk about the big news with the Lotro business license, as it were, this week, but I just can't say anything. Are you kidding me? I can't say anything. I don't know anything. Even if I did, I couldn't say anything, so sorry. What I do know, though, is I got release notes. I do. Check this out, huh? This is actually in progress release notes. You can see our tentative release date is penned in for Wednesday for our regular weekly downtime. We got the Hidden Horde of Nankara raid opening on the 24th. There's a little bit of a text blurb there. It'll open on Tier 1 and Tier 2 difficulties, with Tiers 3 through 5 unlocking in the weeks to come. We'll have announcements. I don't have them in the notes for a reason. But it's Tiers 3, 4, and 5 are going to be kind of rolling out systemically in the weeks following, so get ready. Raid opens at noon Eastern, Thursday, February 24th. In addition to 3 exciting new boss encounters, including the final confrontation between Durin and Frimmel Frostheart, there's new rewards, deeds, new time-limited titles for completing Tiers 3, 4, and 5. The Hidden Horde of Nankara will be available to all players who have Fate of Gundabad and reach level 140. You'll talk to Prince Durin at Zitter-Nisad, the Steep Set, and Mount Gundabad to begin the quest to discover the Hidden Horde. You don't have to have Legacy of Durin and the Trials of the Dwarves completed up to that point to do it, but you should. Leading the Charge Deed will be available to earn. This is correct. The Leading the Charge Deed is available to earn until 3 a.m. Eastern on April 21st. That could shift a day or two if the update ends up shifting a day or two, but that'll most likely be the Leading the Charge Deed cutoff time. Then we've got Erebor housing. Although, let me just real quick, while you can read ahead, let me go take a look at our chat. I have not heard of plans to do, say, Tier 2 Plus for Moria, Mirkwood, and such on the Legendary Worlds. That would be cool if we did, but I have not heard of plans to do that. Any hints on what we're doing for the 15th anniversary? Can I hint? Can I hint anything? What can I? But the one I just thought of was too obvious. Nope. Can't do it. Sorry. I can't think of a good, clever enough hint for the upcoming anniversary, but we've got stuff in the works. It's already written down. It's being worked on. I mean, April's not that far away. But there we go. All right. How will we be getting traceries going forward? The gold tier 14 are difficult to get. The runs people are doing them are being nerfed. What will give us these traceries now? It is true you're going to have to probably, if you want the best stuff, you're going to have to work for it. But we are keeping an eye on that, and we'll see. We'll see. You should be getting it by running the new, tougher stuff. All right. And that's the rest. Let me go on to Erebor housing. One of Smaug's last treasure hoards has been opened, and the dwarves of Erebor have moved to reclaim it. You can reclaim it by owning a piece of Middle-earth in the Great Hall under the mountain. New premium player and kinship housing available. New premium player and kinship housing. Yeah. Kinship housing and player housing. Now, there is one thing, though, with kinship housing, and I did double-check on this yesterday to make sure that I was correct. You can still only own one kinship house. So if your kinship wants a new Erebor kinship house, you are going to have to figure out how to abandon your old kinship house and get the new one. So, however, you can have as many personal player houses as you want. Hopefully we could fix that in the future. I asked Renini, I was like, for real? Like, really? And the answer was, unfortunately, yes. That's how it has to be for this release. But hopefully we could do something about that in the future. But just do keep that in mind, that you got a week here if you want to try to get a kinship house to sort of work with your kinship to get that done if you want to. And I think that there may be, we'll see what ends up happening. I don't know how many, we'll see. I've got some theories, but we'll see what happens there. I know that we would love to be able to offer you the ability to own more than one kinship house, but unfortunately that is not possible for release. 12 base premium houses, 1 special base premium house, 6 deluxe premium houses, 1 premium kinship house, a full suite of town services, social spaces, new exterior music and day file hook types, swoopable gold coins, life-size chess and checkerboards, and other cool stuff as well. I still think probably the most comprehensive housing preview I've seen is the one that's on Deco du Milieu. We want to have one. We're going to have one soon, but I don't think we're going to have it ready for next week. In part, I had to put together these release notes rather than write that page. So, I think we're going to be a couple days late on the Erebor housing article. But the community's got you covered. There's some really great community housing guides out there, up to and including Deco du Milieu's, which may be the best. All right, hey, we also have the Legendary Items reward track happening. It'll start at level 45. You'll access it through the menu, Character Reward Track. As you play the game and collect item XP, it'll progress the track through the season. If you get all the way to the end, there's a repeatable goal for more rewards. We'll refresh the track every season, and the frequency, drop rate, and kind of rewards change over time. The Legendary Items reward track is account-based, so all of your characters in each world will contribute to it. You can select the rewards, so whatever character you want. And we do have an article that's going to be up by next week that I did earlier this week. It's just pretty basic, but it has just a little bit more information than what you have here. We also have the Angle of Methythal content happening here with Update 32, stretching south from the Trollshaws to the junction of the Bruinen and Methythal rivers is a wild land of rocky hills, deep pine woods, and a graveyard of ancient kingdoms. The ruins of elves and men alike crumble among the trees, and the rangers steal through the shadows of the trees, ever watchful, carrying out secret assignments, as the north grows more dangerous by the day. New area levels 40 to 45, free to VIPs. It'll be available in the Lotro store. And then we've got a bunch of class notes here that I'm going to start moving to in a second, but let me take another quick second to pop over at chat. Is there a better UI coming for the new Legendary Item system? I think that we've read a lot of feedback. UI is always a complex thing to try to bring out. And we'll see what we end up doing there. But I think we'll see some tweaks to the existing reward track over time. I wouldn't expect a top-down overhaul, but certainly some tweaks as time permits here in the future. We're still really in the fairly early days as far as this all goes. So. Someone is telling me kinship housing is useless. Well, okay. Sorry. I think a lot of people like it. But I like my kinship house. But sure, okay. Thankfully, you don't have to buy one. Okay, yes. So, what about IXP runes in the reward track? Thank you for bringing that up. That is from Facebook. So, when Update 32 is released, you're going to be crunching down all those IXP runes that you've been saving up, in wait for the debut of this reward track. And we are going to have the functionality where you can utilize the whole stack by alt-clicking on it. So we are gonna, but you are gonna have to manually crunch through all those item XP runes when the reward track debuts next week. Because of that, the pace of this first reward track is going to be all over the place. It's not going to be consistent with anything that we can really measure for future reward tracks, right? Because it's going to get juiced with this whole backlog that we've caused for ourselves and you, right? So we're expecting, in some cases, people to probably pretty close to max out the reward track right away on day one. And that's going to probably, hopefully, be the only time that's ever happening to you. But, you know, it's something where we even have a note, I think, in the page or the release notes or somewhere eventually where we're going to be like, hey, we get it. This first reward track is going to be kind of off pace from what it will normally be. And we're just going to have to accept that and deal with it. And same with you. It does mean you're going to have to go through that process of crunch down your IXP runes, but thankfully we do have the consume the full stack ability available. I have no plans to do a hot tub stream. I don't have a hot tub. Plus it's cold. Plus I don't really wear swimsuits much. Shock that I'm not, you know, hanging out at the beach on a regular basis. But it's true. It's true. Yeah. Will we have support for 32.9 monitors? I don't see that happening, although I know it works, because I see people do it. But official support, I don't think so. Actually, doesn't that just work, though? Doesn't it just show up? Or no, you have to manually edit the UI, or how do you do that? I don't know. I don't have a 32.9 monitor. I'm not quite sure. Alright. What about IXP runes on the reward track? My understanding is they will auto-consume, essentially. You'll just get the IXP when you're awarded it from the reward track. I believe so. I think that's the way it works, right? Gosh, I hope I'm right there. How will the reward track work with it being account shared, but someone like myself with multiple max level tunes on the rewards? So you will pick, when you unlock a reward, it'll be available to claim. And you'll log into the character that you want to claim that reward on, and then claim the reward in the reward track. So, yes, I guess that means, in general, you're not going to be splitting the reward between, say, two characters. But you have full control over which character claims the reward and when. Because the button will just sit there for you for when you want to claim it. Currently, the functionality, as I understand it, is you do have to claim them in order, but that is something we've already been working on to correct. So I would expect a change post-release, if not it being ready for live, where you will not have to collect them in order. But at least with this initial debut, I believe that is the case. At least right now on Palantir, I'm pretty sure that's the case. So that you do have to claim it in order, but that'll be changing in the future. All right. So, yeah, let me get to classwork. Relentless Maul, no longer used while moving. Sorry. Exploits. Base from Relentless Maul now counts as a healing skill. Desperate Shouts buff now visible again. Burglar, Purge Corruption can now crit. Hedge your bet, heals 5% per pulse, and has a chance to apply on each attack. I don't really want to go through all these class notes. Brawlers will now receive a new title in addition to the existing title when they complete the class quest Brawling Lessons, awarded retroactively. We actually, as you can see, we do have some work in the works here for the Brawlers. And I guess I'm just going to kind of scroll through that right now. You can stop the screen and pause it and read it as at your leisure. Bracing attack for champion will no longer miss. It cannot be BPE'd. Its damage, though, has been reduced as a result by about 20%. Merciful Strike's crit multipliers have been raised, though, to match the default for most skills. That's 1.5 2 crit. Guardian Flashlight skills with your weapon now only procs off your active take-to-heart target. Damage scales up more effectively into higher levels. Catch a Breath's cooldown timer no longer bugs out. Hunter Lingering Wound applies damage over time again. Yeah. Rapid Fire reduces the cost of split shot. Lore Master, they did some work with Commune with Nature, Nature's Light, Nature's Gift. Minstrel, Call of Arundel, resetting properly now with Cries and Calls. We're increasing the pulse of some damage over time of Rune Keepers. The number of pulses is unchanged, but the durations are now shorter as a result. So the total damage is the same, but your overall DPS will be higher. Reason for that, you'll have faster pulse rates. Rite of Fire's pulse rate has gone from 4 to 3 seconds. Scathing Mockery lowered from 6 to 3, so that's half. You're doing twice as much, essentially. Fire, Frost, and Lightning skills are now labeled correctly in their tooltips. Warden, Tracery Mastery's cooldown improved from -3 to -5 seconds. Rummer Chant set bonuses reduced from -5 to -3, kind of flipping that. Heals increased generally across the board. Crit defense debuffs scale correctly. For crafting, the Brawler belt buckle icons are now consistent. Hallelujah. Achieving a crit success when crafting Duero Gleam belt buckles and stick pins will now add 2 eye levels to the resulting item. And yeah, there's that Sunstone Shard thing once every 7 days. See your improved recipes vendor. If you've achieved the highest rep in your crafting guild, you'll have access to a recipe to allow the creation of a Sunstone Shard. It does require T14 Gundabad crafting. We're also bringing those multiple music hooks and day files to Cape of Belfalis and Rohan Housing. I think. Gosh, I hope that's correct, since I just said it on the air. It may be that isn't in place, and like I say, these release notes are work in progress, so it is possible I'm wrong there. At one point, that was the release note. I don't know that that's actually been verified, though. Sorry, Suri-sama. We're dealing with that. Legendary items may now reach item level 475. Incoming healing progressions have been corrected on class items. Adventurer's gear for level 140 characters scales to 461, 463. Bound to character traceries and essences now actually bind the legendary item or slotted item to the character. PvMP rank cloaks now gated by monster play can't be used outside of the Etmors, sorry. If you have a unique essence or tracery and 2 different weapons, you can now equip that second weapon without first unequipping the first. All shields now offer the crit defense and range defense bonus. And get a Vitality Essence from the Delver's Essence boxes. New Brawler traceries added to the Barter vendor. Pelennor Warrior's gear rewards vendor Master of Battlelore now correctly offers Brawler set gear. And all Task Quest items now list the regions that they belong to in their descriptions, except for the housing task boards. That's pretty hot. Monsters above level 60 are getting a little bit more base critical defense. And let's see. Class, race, virtue, trait slots will now automatically unlock when a character hits the required level regardless of subscription status or purchase. Not monster play characters, though, but yeah, it's all free, as we said. And hey, guess what? Featured instance rotation updated to now include Dungeons of Dol Guldur, Fornost, Wraith of Water, Seat of Great Goblin, Erebor's Peak, Sword Hall of Dol Guldur, and Barad Guldur. The featured instance reward package is updated. What? Including new armors that will scale to your character level. In order to support this scaling, the reward packages will now decay. So they must be opened within 1 hour or be lost. That's so you don't earn it at a low level, open it at a high level, and get the high level. The featured instance cap quest will now require tier 2 completion of the instance. Featured challenge quests have been removed. Stable Masters in the Troll Shaws, Eregion, Lothlorien, Solar Mirkwood, and Aaron Lisgallen now use the Elk travel mode. A vector has been added from Thorinata and the Troll Shaws to guide players to the Angle of Mathithel. Added some clarifying dialogue to a quest. Enemies in Elder Slade Gundabad missions now execute induction skills in 5 seconds, so we're executing their induction skills more than half the time. What else do we need to do? We changed the level requirement from Rivendell to Goth Forthnier down to 20. That, as I understand, is to support the legendary worlds. In Fate of Gundabad, there's going to be 20 additional quests with Carbronic, completing that one out. Geode Hunter barter prices have been adjusted, or will be rather, with the release of Update 32. And let's see. A couple minor things. Nothing really worth bringing up there. UI. System now refers to tracers correctly in the Legendary Items UI. The Reforged UI is an accurate summary now. And Trollshaw's Stable Masters will send you to the correct locations when traveling via the Collections panel. The gold restriction removed for free and premium players. We already announced that, of course, too. All account types can now have a maximum of 9999 gold without purchase at the currency cap. And the benefits of Premium Wallet have been applied to all accounts. And that's coming as well. We do have a couple of known issues as of today, but we'll deal with the rest of that later. And like I say, these are work in progress notes. Some of that stuff could change before we actually get released, so don't hold me to it. If it gets released next week and it looks somewhat different, don't say I didn't warn you. That's what we mean by work in progress. All right. Oh, and I already got... Took so long. Really only got 20 minutes left? Jeez. Hapa Joel, I don't feel qualified right now to start getting into the specifics of how to abandon and properly transfer a kinship house. I myself, were I to do it, would want to look up one of the guides and the support articles and things like that, just to make sure, before I actually did it myself. So I'm definitely not in a position to improvise a good walkthrough on that for you. I would say that I know that exists, though, so I would do a quick Google search and get some info before you do the kinship home transfer process. And I'll see about getting some stuff out on social media as well in the coming days. Alright, I'm speaking to Muta. So I am, yeah, I'm just going there, and then, oop, what? It's attacking me! Oh, there you are. Alright. I already answered the bridal's question. I don't know when they're going to get here. I know that it's on our to-do list, but I'm not actually expecting it to happen in the short term. We are aware of your interest, and hopefully we'll be able to get to that soon. Stellar Hand Warriors are kind of tough, aren't they? Oh, look at my endless XP boost. You know, here's the thing, though. I don't really recall buying XP boost. I think this is mostly from Hobbit gifts that I just used. I think. And then plus whatever. I mean, if I see an XP boost in my inventory, I consume it. That's how it works. But I haven't, like, gone to the store and bought a whole bunch or anything, so... Oh, I got it. So, how has your experience been with Fate of Gundabad? Are you presumably, hopefully enjoying the content? And how far are you? Have you gotten through it? You're just kind of working on dailies at this point. What is the state of Lotro for you here in the early part of February 2022? You know, we have update 32 coming next week, so ideally, a lot of you should hopefully be, ready for that new batch of content. Even though we recognize it's lower level content for bunch of us as well. But we do have other stuff coming, so that's cool. Update 32 is pretty feature-packed, all said and done. I have had a very difficult past month in terms of my free game time. I had a lot to do around the house. I had a lot to do in work. I had a lot to do related to some of the volunteer work that I do with like a church I belong to, that kind of thing. And this month has just gone by, and I've had almost no free time to do much of anything. The few minutes I've had in the evening, I've had like, say, maybe 30, 45 minutes in the evening to do something. And I haven't been able to get in much Lotro. So as a result, I saw on the forums, I guess this past week, someone was saying that, gosh, he sure is going through this slow. And it's true. I've not actually had a huge amount of game time in the past couple of months in particular, but this past month especially, I've barely had time to play any games. But that's hopefully going to be easing up a little bit now. I had a, kind of few adjustments happen in my life. I had to do some stuff with, so I know, vague booking, but it's almost like I have a private life. Yeah, even it's not that I have not been cheating on my games with other games. I've been not playing many games. I've played a little bit, but only things I can play in like, 15, 20 minutes quick. And I have been playing a little Lotro, but not much. What are you doing here? Muta's voice shrinks to a gruff whisper. I didn't expect for help to be sent so soon. Given the circumstances, I'm more than happy to be wrong. When the Dour Hands ambushed us, I saw Karsa and Uzvat escape to the east. But have you seen Garjan? Tell Muta that Garjan escaped and that he now intends to warn Ausma and Lord Gloin of the danger beyond the Witch Gate. It seems our efforts to foil the Iron Crown and Elderslay did not go as unnoticed as we'd hoped. After the Dour Hands threw me in the cage, I overheard them mumbling about the new orders from Brethar. Unfortunately, they were wise enough to continue their conversations where I couldn't eavesdrop. Why don't you see? If some of them have been foolish enough to keep their orders on hand, I'll keep trying to free myself in the meantime. I was just going to say, I was like, I appreciate that we're having this nice discussion here, but maybe if I were Muta, I'd be like, try maybe lifting, hey, take the, let's see what we can do here, huh? Let's see if we can solve this problem post haste. Alright, yeah, so there we go. Can we have a Geode weekend again soon? I would love to see us do a Geode weekend here in the near future. That seems possible. We'll see. It's definitely a good candidate for the next gap we have, that's for sure. Is this too spoilery? This can't be too spoilery at this point, right? Because wasn't I just saying that people were kind of accusing me of being too slow on the content here? But I suppose you haven't played it, right? So, sorry.
Do you need something?
Did you find anything? You hand the orders to Muta as she reads them, her eyebrows raise and lower a few times. After a moment, she scoffs. If these orders are to be believed, we in the Zelruka here have our work cut out for us. From what I can tell, the Iron Crown, as well as their Dowerhand and Hillman allies, now serve one named High Priestess Asashel. I cannot be certain of it, but I would not doubt, as she is a descendant of the corrupt men of the Westerns. It seems the Iron Crown laid claim to that fortress across the valley. The Dreer Spire, they call it. It said they seek something called the Krun's God. But I cannot glean anything else about it from these orders. Yo, get me my weapons. Go. All right. That should help.
Underestimate the enemy.
Oops. Okay. Rank.
Never underestimate the enemy.
Okay, so there's mention of a jailer dispatched to the Witch Gate to deliver me to the Iron Crown at the Dreer Spire. Alright. Time to find a horn. Which might be back this way. Oh, up and around. Okay. Work. Why, hello again. How about task carry-alls in the store? I can pass that along to the e-commerce team. Let them know that there is some real demand out there. At least, you know, some urgent asks for it from Twitch and what have you. Am I going... Where? What is this horn? Okay. Where is that? Gonna fall down, but I'm tempted. Must be going the wrong way. I think the limited availability of them is probably based on sort of various business considerations. I know I don't want to hear that, but I think to some extent it's the same reason that other companies release things for a limited time. because it will sometimes encourage you to maybe want to pick it up this time now rather than next time or whenever you get around to it. And to some extent, I think it is also a matter of not in the case of the carryalls because they're harmless, right? But sometimes on limited duration things, it's done that way to help control the flow, as it were. Sometimes there's benefits to doing that, but that doesn't apply to carryalls. Coffee. I dare to defy the Iron Crown. Stompian does. Take your Iron Crown and turn it into a hammer. That's what I'll do. Alright. Going back to Muta. I don't know why the time on task item carryalls, other than I think they were available for quite a while. And I think to some extent, they'll come out again when the time is right. But I know yeah, I mean, that's kind of a long time, isn't it? So, I don't really know what to say other than I'll pass it along that people are like, really want those task item carryalls back. Put them in the store. Yeah, I think we recognize that we've been focusing on dwarves for quite some time here, and that, was sort of the point of Fate of Gundabad here, is it's the fate of Gundabad. And it allows us to move over into other stories to tell geographically, other cultures to take a look at and delve into. So I think, I think we're going to be, I'm not saying done with dwarves for a while, but I think to some extent, I think we'll be focusing on other races and stories in Middle-earth for a little while here, because we have been doing dwarves for quite some time in our main story arc, so that's probably not the best way to put it. We have been focusing on the cultures of the dwarves for quite some time in our main story arc, and there we go. Thank you, I finally get to free you. Yay!
Gundabad is rife with foes. Be wary.
Nope. All right. Hey, there we go. That's pretty cool. So, 12:57, I guess that's probably about as good time to wrap up in a few minutes as possible. I think for content, we'll just wrap things up here. After I was captured, I spied some Zelruka to the northeast. According to what little the Gabaleka knows of this region, there's an old Angmarum settlement in that direction called the Grumachath. Grumacheth. Perhaps that is where the Zelruka have made camp. Or perhaps not, but anywhere is better than staying here. Let's go. We're gonna go camping. Oh, that's cool. Alright. Well, that's neat. Okay, so that's going to be really the next thing we're going to do then, is go to Grumacheth. Figure out where that is on the map here. But that sounds great. So that's awesome. And that's what we're going to do here for next week's show. Me and my buddy, my lady friend here, are going to go on a little trip. Thanks so much for watching Court of the Rings on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I'll be back next Friday with more. Update 32 will be out, so we'll have some cool new stuff to show off. Maybe I'll hang out in housing. Maybe I'll... housing sounds like maybe the thing to do, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll head right into the Anglo-Mathithal and check that out as well. Or maybe we'll continue just sort of with the storyline here after we do the little escort stuff. But I'm hoping to have some time to just play on my own, so I would expect to hopefully have progressed the story by next week. Let me do one more quick thing through chat. Do I know where the stories are going next? I do. But I can't say anything. Bad place to log out, but we're going to do it anyway. I got some backup. Take care of some of these dour hands. Not so dour now, are ya? Alright. All right, I think we're going to wrap it up then. So thanks very much, everyone, for being here, and I will see you next week. Have fun.